Hi guys, welcome back. Let us learn NCERT class 9, chapter 2, that is physical features of India. Here we have to understand, you have already learned earlier that India is a vast country with the varied landforms that we all know that. So if I take an example, what kind of terrain do you live in? So if you live in the plains, you are familiar with the vast stretches of plain land. You can see in the picture of the first one. So, and in contrast, if you live in the hilly regions, the rugged terrain with the mountains and valleys are common features. In fact, our country has particularly all major physical features of Earth. It is mountains, plains, and deserts, and plateaus, and islands. So, you must be wondering how these physical features have been formed. So, we will learn more about major physical features of India and how they have been formed. So, let us know what kind of the physical features we have. So, basically, we find different types of the rocks. Some are very hard, like marbles, which has been used for making the Taj Mahal, and some are very soft, like soapstone, which is used in making talcum powder. So the color of soil varies from one place to other because we already learnt in the formation of soil. Soil varies from one place to other because soil is formed out of different types of rocks. So we have on the ninth standard itself the different soil, different rocks making, how the formation of soil, different rocks using. So have you ever thought about the cause of these variations? So most of these variations are caused due to differences in rock formations. So here you can see India is a large landmass formed during different geological periods, which has influenced her relief. So, besides geological formations, a number of processes, that is, such as weathering. Weathering is nothing but the breaking down of rock. So, weathering agents include here water, ice, wind, animals, and growing plants. And another thing is erosion. Oh, erosion is the movement of sediment from broken rock. So these erosion agents include water, wind, ice, and gravity. So another one is that is deposition. So the dropping of sediment in a new place, that is called deposition. So for example, I can say formation of an island and sand dunes. So have created and modified the relief to its present form. So coming to the uh, earth theory of plate tectonics. So that means here earth scientists have attempted to explain the formation of physical features. So with the help of some theories. So we cannot find out simply. So they have to do the discoveries, scientists, sorry. So they have some theories based on certain evidences. One such plausible theory is the theory of plate tectonics. So, according to the theory, the lithosphere is broken into plates. That means when we are using daily day that plates we like fiber and all, it will break. No, the same thing. The earth inside the plates also will break or float. So on the ethnosphere, so like blocks of wood floating on the water. So when we will throw it in the water, that blocks, wooden blocks, it will float. No, so the same thing it will also appears. Most plates are composed of both continental and oceanic crust. So you can see this picture. So here what happened, according to this theory, the crust upper part of the earth has been formed out of seven major and some minor plates. So the movement of the plates results in the building up of stresses within the plates and the continental rocks above. So this leads to the folding and faulting and volcanic activity. So we can say broadly this place movements are classified into three types. While some plates come towards each other and form convergent boundary, that is down one convergent plate boundary will make, and after that some plates move away from each other and form divergent boundary, that is upper one divergent boundary. You can see how it forms. And the other one is, in the event of two plates coming together, they may either collide and crumble, or one may slide under the other. So at the same time, they may also move horizontally past each other and form transform boundary. These are the three plates how it will happens. So the moment of these plates have changed and the position and the size of the continents over millions of years. So here you can see the explanation of plate tectonics is the study of how the earth's crust is shaped by geological forces. So it relies on the understanding that the crust is divided into large pieces or plates that sit on the molten interior of the planet. So here we have to understand the theory was formulated in the 1960s and 70s as new information was obtained about the nature of the ocean floor. So the scientists they invented. So Earth's ancient magnetism, the distribution of volcanoes and the earthquakes, the flow of heat from Earth's interior and the worldwide distribution of the planet. So here you can see the different types of the plate and boundaries. So type of the margin, motion, effect, topography, volcanic activity and all. And here if we come to the divergent plate, motion will be spreading and constructive oceanic lithosphere will be created because of this divergent plates, effect of the divergent plates, and convergent plates will be oceanic lithosphere will be destroyed. These are the two differences between divergent and convergent plates you can learn in the next chapter. So coming to this world plate margins, where the world plate margin will be located, like a erosion plate you can see in the map, and the North American plate and Pacific plate, South American plate and African plate and Eurasian plate and Pacific plate, Indo Australian plate, all those things. So here we have to understand the most volcanoes and the earthquakes in the world are located at the plate margins. So, but sometime do occur within the plates also. So you can see these pictures where is the red in color triangles pointing where the most of the volcanoes occurs in the worldwide. And coming to the earthquakes, you can observe in the Nepal earthquake of 2015. So major aftershocks and all. And recently, as per we can see that an earthquake 6.0 struck in 11 kilometer, that is 7 miles away from the Assam, India at Indian Standard Time 7:51. Recently, that April 28th, 2021 occurred that earthquakes. Okay, so these are the few important things we have to understand. And coming to the another thing, the oldest landmass, that is peninsula part. It was a part of the Gondwana land. That means the Gondwana land included India, Australia, and South Africa. And South America and Antarctica as one single land mass. So the conventional currents split the crust into a number of pieces. Before it was a Gondwana land, it will be included. You can see this picture. All together they merged. Okay, after that separated from the Gondwana land towards north, the northward drift results in the collation of the plate with the much larger erosion plate. What happened? Due to this collation, the sedimentary rocks which were accumulated in the geosyncline known as the Tetyas were folded to form the mountain system. So you should understand how the mountain system was formed. So, from the Western Asia and Himalayas. So, the Gondwana land, it is the southern part of the ancient supercontinent in the northern part. So, here you can observe the Himalayan uplift out of the Tetia Sea. So, and the subsidence of the northern flank of the peninsula plateau, it was resulted in the formation of Lord Basin. So, in due course of time, this depression gradually got filled with the deposition of sediments by the river flowing. What happened? Most of the rivers will be flowing, then the deposition will be more from the mountains. In the you can say from the mountains in the north and the peninsular plateau in the south, a flat land of extensive alluvial deposits lead to the formation of the northern plateaus of India. As we discussed about um, formation of the alluvial deposits, when the river will flow, no, it will be depositing the soil, so it will be forming the plains also. Okay, so the land of India displays great physical variations. So you can observe the Peninsula Plateau constitutes one of the ancient land masses on the Earth's surface. It was supposed to be one of the most stable land blocks. Even the Himalayas and the northern plains are the most recent landforms. And from the viewpoint of geology, Himalayan mountains form an unstable zone. So we will be discussing briefly in coming to the videos. And the whole mountain system of Himalaya represents a very youthful topography with high peaks and deep valleys and the fast flowing rivers. Because of this reason, we can find the most valleys, high peaks, and fast flowing rivers in the Himalayas. And coming to the northern plains are formed of northern plains. These northern plains are formed of alluvial deposits. The peninsular plateau is composed of igneous and metamorphic rocks with the gently rising hills and wide valleys. So these are the information about the Himalayas. And coming to the major physiographic divisions. So what are the major physiographic divisions? So here we have six. Those are the Himalayan mountains and the northern plains and the peninsular plateau and the Indian deserts and the plain plains, and the sixth one is the islands. So you can see which I have given in the color, that is green in color the northern plains, orange in color Deccan Plateau, and the Indian desert that is in yellow color, and down in the India map, like you can see this colors where are the physical divisions will be marked. Okay, the Himalayan mountains. So here you can see that Himalayan mountains, which is surrounded north side of India. So the Himalayas geologically young and structurally fold mountains. We have different kind of the mountains. Here we can say the fold mountains stretch over the northern borders of India. So these mountains ranges run in the west to east direction. So always it will be runs in the west to east direction from the Indus to the Brahmaputra. So here the Himalayas represent the lof- loftiest and one of the most rugged mountain barriers of the world. They form an arc which covers a distance of about 2400 kilometers. Also, their width varies, like we can say 400 kilometers in Kashmir and 150 kilometer in Arunachal Pradesh. So here we have to understand the altitudinal variations are greater in the eastern half than those in the western half. So the Himalaya consists of three parallel ranges in its longitudinal extent. So here a number of valleys lie between these ranges. So the northernmost range is known as the Great or Inner Himalayas or the Himadri, we can say. Okay, and it is the most continuous range consisting of loftiest peaks with an average height of 6,000 meters. It contains all prominent Himalayan peaks. So, coming to the, we can say some highest peaks of the Himalayas. Which are the highest peaks of Himalayas? You can see this peak and country and height in meters here I mentioned. So Mount Everest, it is situated in Nepal country. So it is its height is 8,848, and Kanchenjunga, it is in India, 8,598. This information already you learnt in the 7th standard also. And Makalu, that is in Nepal, 8,481, and Dhaulagiri, that is in Nepal, 8,172, and Nanga Parbat, that is in India, 8,126, and Annapurna, that is in Nepal, 8,078 height in meters, and Nanda Devi, it's in India, 708, sorry, 7,817, and Kamet, that is in India, 7,756, and that is Namcha Barwa in India, 7,756, and Gurla Mundhata, that is in Nepal, 7,728. So the folds of the Great Himalayas are asymmetrical in nature. The core of this part of Himalayas is composed of granite. It is perennially snowbound, and a number of glaciers descend from this range. So you can find out some kind of glaciers and passes that lie in the Great Himalayas. So I have given here some glaciers. Those are Gangotri, Chaturangi, Bhagirathi, Kharak, and Satopant, and Kamet, and Milan, and Pindhari. And the passes are in the Great Himalayas, that is Karakoram Pass, and Shipkila Pass, and Nathula, and Bomidila Pass. And the another one is, here we have to understand the name of the states where the highest peaks are located. So here we can see that is the highest peaks in Kanchanajunga, Nanda Devi, and Kamet, and Saltaro, Kangari, and Gorichen Peak, Abighamin. So these are the peaks, highest peaks where we find in like Sikkim, Uttarakhand, and we can say Jammu and Kashmir, and Arunachal Pradesh, and Uttarakhand. So these are the highest peaks located states. So another thing is we have to understand the range lying to the south of Himadri forms most rugged mountain system. We already discussed about that, and we have to understand briefly, and is known as a Himachal or Lesser Himalaya. Here, the ranges are mainly composed of highly compressed and altered rocks. So the altitude varies between 3,700 and 4,500 meters, and the average width is of 50 kilometers, while the Pirpangal range forms the longest and the most important range. And we have to know about the Dauladhar and the Mahabharat range are also prominent ones. You can see in this map, which is mentioned in the right side in the map. And This range consists of the famous valley of Kashmir, the Kanghara and Kulu Valley. In Himachal Pradesh, this region is well known for its hill stations. So, because of this region, we can find most of the hill station and beautiful nature in this areas. So, here we have to find out the location of Mussoorie, Nainital, and Ranikhet from your atlas, and also name the states. I have given this picture. So those are Mississippi, sorry, Mussoorie, Nainital, and Ranikhet. Of all these places I have given here. So coming to the Himadri Himalayas and Shivalik Himalayas, they are inner Himalayas or Great Himalayas. So these are the difference between Himalayas and Shivalik Himalayas. So here Himadri Himalayas, the average width is 400 kilometers to 150 kilometers, and the Shivalik Himalayas are varies 10 to 50 kilometers. The average height of Himadri is 6000 kilometers, and these Shivalik Himalayas have an average height of 900 kilometers to 1200 meters. These are the some important points of Himadri and Shivalik Himalayas. So coming to the another thing, that is the outermost range of Himalayas is called as Shivaliks. So here they extend over the width of 10 to 50 kilometers and have an altitude varying between 900 to a 1100 meters. These ranges are composed of unconsidered sediments brought down by rivers from the main Himalayan ranges located further north. So these valleys are covered with the thick gravel and alluvium. Okay, so here the longitudinal valley lying between Lesser Himalaya and the Shivaliks are known as Dunes and Dehra Dune. Kotil Dune and Patil Dune are some of the well known dunes. So, besides the longitudinal divisions, the Himalaya have been divided on the basis of regions from the west to east. So these divisions have been demarcated by river valleys. For example, the part of Himalayas lying between Indus and Satluj. So you can see Satluj and Indus in the red in color. Indus and Satluj. So these are the Satluj and Indus here. Okay. So here you have been traditionally known as Punjab Himalayas. Punjab Himalayas, and we can say, but it also known regionally as Kashmir and Himachal Himalaya. So from west to east respectively, the part of the Himalayas lying between Satluj and Kali rivers is known as Kuman Himalayas. And the Kali and Testa rivers demarcate the Nepal Himalayas, and the part lying between Tisa and Dihang rivers is known as Assam Himalayas. So these are the regional names also in these broad categories. So the Brahmaputra marks the easternmost boundary of the Himalayas. Beyond the Dihang Gors, what we say, the Himalayan bend sharply to the south and spread along the eastern boundary of India. So here there are known as the Purvachal or eastern hills. So we can say eastern hills also Purvachal and mountains. So these hills running though the northeastern states are mostly composed of strong sandstones which are sedimentary rocks. It covered with the dense forest. They mostly run as parallel ranges and valleys. So the Purvachal comprises the what we say Patkal hills and the Naga hills. So the even we call as a Manipur hills and the Mizo hills. So this is the information about eastern plains, and coming video I'll be discussing the northern plain of Himalaya and the peninsula plateau briefly. So with this I'm going to end this chapter, and next coming video will be discussing the Indian deserts and the coastal plains and the islands, and what are the, what do we say, peninsula plateau and all briefly. So I hope you this will be informative. Thank you for watching. Keep touching.